It's my pleasure to introduce to you some amazing women who have really inspired me. They all do very different things. One races across deserts to raise money for her cause. Another represents our country around the world. Still another puts musical instruments in kids' hands. Each is tenacious and dedicated and truly remarkable. One other very important thing they have in common is that they are all mothers. I know having my 3 children has changed my life and made me want to do whatever I can to make the world a better place. And each of these women is doing just that. Some are unsung heroes, and some are well known to all of us, like Secretary of State Hillary Clinton and Rosie O'Donnell. And our first...
The best part is watching Norma Bastidas' face. She had never seen that footage. The first mom she was speaking of, the one that runs for her son, is with us now. She's from right here in Vancouver, and the documentary we're looking at is by both Oprah and Julia Roberts. It's called Extraordinary Moms, and it's going to be airing on Mother's Day. Norma,
how are you?
What was it like for you to just watch that?
Exactly a dream. I'm just going to cry in public. That was incredible.
How did this come into your life? Do you know who?
I'm still trying to figure it out. I mean, I really, when they called me and said, we know what you're doing, and we're producers of the Oprah Winfrey Network, it doesn't sink in. How will anybody get a call? And I thought, okay, is this a radio station? Are you pranking me, really? My sister wants tickets to a hockey game. Exactly, my sister was talking.
It's always the sister, isn't it?
Always. Yeah,
let's talk about what it is that you do and why they're highlighting you in Extraordinary Moms. Tell us a little bit about your family and how that's manifested in your life and what you do.
I'm a single mom. I have 2 kids, and when my son was 11 and my youngest was 7, my 11-year-old was diagnosed with something that is called Conrad dystrophy. And, I was busy, I was working, I was trying to, raise my kids and put food on the table. And then these diagnoses come, and it was like, okay, there's no cure, he will get worse, and there's no, and go home.
So they're telling you... you were told that he was going to lose his sight. Wow. How did you handle that moving forward?
Not very well. I remember coming home, and everything seemed to be happening. Adjusting to, it's not something we all prepare for, say, if you're, 3 months just in case, the economy. You don't prepare. It's not something I could solve in 3 months. No. So basically.
And we're looking at you and your son right now. How old is he now?
He's 16.
And how is his vision?
Like
he's stable, but he's still difficult. It's not something. And that was one of the most frustrating. It's not like he's not blind walking with a cane. So it's very difficult for people to understand what's happening because he just seems
there's
clumsy.
No manifestation outside.
No manifestation. He still can, sometimes he seems normal, and sometimes he seems like, what's wrong with you? So it's incredibly isolating. It's very frustrating for him because people think that he, and I remember one instant that, he might try to reach for something and spill, and they were like, were you blind? And I was like, honey, they don't know. They're not trying to be mean.
Yeah,
but it was difficult for an 11-year-old.
How did you start running to raise awareness for your son?
It was just something that, and I joke about it, but it was true. It was either vodka at 3 a.m. or that. I just couldn't sleep. And
running or drinking.
Exactly. I'm like, I was like, I lost my job. With everything I had to now to find a position. So I couldn't breathe. I just needed to, and I just started to run. And I thought, you know what? I have to find an outlet that is positive. And I have to be strong. And I need to come home and tell my kids, we're going to be okay.
And we have to tell people what we're looking at here. You've never seen this footage before.
Was this your first ultramarathon?
No, this is. I already done the 7 continents, but this was challenging.
Wait a minute, say that again.
You had
already done the 7 continents.
Yes.
You started running because you were stressed out, and now you're doing ultramarathons, which is how far?
Some of them, that in particular, is 250 kilometers.
What? Lady, that's some running you're doing.
That footage there, that was from Chile?
From Chile. And the earthquake, and the producer said, we're going to follow you. I've done the 7 continents, and I started climbing. But that race I wanted to do because one of my friends have a charity that's called All for Humanity. Said we have some kids in Ghana that they need to go to a special school. And I said, okay, let's organize a race. I'll raise awareness. And I just called and I said, I have to go. I have to go. So they came and they followed me. But the earthquake happened a few days to get there. It went from direct flight to all of a sudden I'm scrambling and finding money because it went from $600 to $5,000 to get to Chile.
Trying to get to Chile.
It was terrible.
And your equipment didn't make it, and that would make a lot of people not do the race. But tell us what you were running with there and why you continued.
You know, I arrived. It's stubbornness. I'm here. I was there not for myself, but for those children. And when they say, maybe you shouldn't go, you're not even gonna, because eventually, I mean, the more you do something, the better you become. Sometimes I might even win the race. And that's where sometimes we all get caught up in that. And they say, wow, you have no hope. And aren't you embarrassed? And I said, if I have to crawl that race, I mean, I'm like, most people dream of even running 10K. Am I going to stand here and say, well, wow, I'm not going to do well? It's a privilege.
There's a fascinating thing with all this that you sort of mentioned a minute ago. Obviously, you've been raising a lot of money for CNIB and
Foundation Fighting Blindness,
yeah,
Operation Eyesight.
But these other organizations, and we were talking before about, having one child sometimes makes you a mother to all children in a really fundamental way. And you've really incorporated that into your fundraising and into your life as well.
I do. I want to teach my kids that I wanted my son to feel that I wanted him to feel, and that was the 7-7, it was a lucky number. I wanted him to feel that instead of, I remember the doctor saying, everybody wants to know, how did this happen? I said, it's really bad luck that your mom and dad had the same gene and you actually had to pass it. And that bothered me. I remember laying in bed thinking,
laying blame on something you can't prevent.
I mean, I remember thinking, he heard that. He heard that it's bad luck, that he was a product of bad luck. I was like, no, let's celebrate it. Let's celebrate that. And I wanted my kids, I didn't think it was going to get this big. I thought in our community, even if it was just him or just us, the CNME, whatever it was, to feel we can help. We either sit down and watch it happen or we do something about it. That's what I wanted to teach. But then it became, the neighborhood, your community becomes smaller. I would just say that the world becomes your community. I heard about people in Africa, mothers who, they could be cured. Their sons could be cured. They didn't have the money to take the bus to go to the doctor. I couldn't sleep. I felt that was my child.
You can change that.
It does. I mean, you become a mother of many children.
Yeah.
And you said to me in the green room that you don't think you're amazing. Well, everybody else does.
No, I don't. I think what I do is out of the ordinary. It's not extraordinary. I think that it's human nature. It is the human resiliency, and mothers will do everything. People always say, wow, you can run it. And I say, if you were told that you could help your child overcome something by running 100 miles with you, and everybody, I have not met a single mother that said, oh no, I can't.
Yeah, sorry, I'm busy.
It changes, it changes. They go, all of a sudden they see themselves running in the desert.
And what has all the attention been like? Because you say the name Oprah Winfrey, you're in the show, it's going to be airing on Sunday night. You've been on the cover of the Province newspaper. Elaine O'Connor wrote a great article about you. There you are right there. What has it been like for you and your son and your kids in general?
I mean, there's many layers. It's flattering. It also allows me to think all these people that helped me. Like, I remember living in Calgary. My neighbor used to mow my lawn when I was gone as a single because, it allows me to thank everybody to say, this is because it wasn't just me. It was everybody else. It was my sister, my neighbors, my best friend, strangers. They're saying, we can do it, we can help. And I mean, so many people allows me, the charities that were there when I needed them. Because sometimes I needed somebody to hold my hand and said, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Norma. It's such a pleasure to meet you. The
Thanks,
documentary we're speaking of called Extraordinary Moms airs on Sunday night on Mother's Day. Make sure that you check it out. Featuring our guest, Norma Bastidas, right next to people like Christiane Amanpour and Hillary Clinton, where she belongs. Thank you.
Yeah, she's run, she's climbed, and now she's doing an Ironman. Is that the next one? Norma,
good luck.
Amazing.
Good luck with the dog paddle.
Yeah.